Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Truth Talks with Tara. I am so excited today to have a conversation with a friend. And friends, I feel like this is such a kindred spirit of mine, and I think you're going to also feel the same way about Arlene. Today we are talking all things marriage. She's written an incredible book called Making Marriage Easier, which that title alone is just, I think, what we all want. But more than just easy, it's also about glorifying the Lord. It's about having deeper, refreshing connection with your spouse that, again, glorifies God. So I am so excited about this. Before we start, though, Arlene, can you introduce yourselves to our friends listening? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. And then also, I'm doing a little bit of a new thing on the show since we've had a little bit of I'm going to call it a facelift to the podcast. Like the heart of the podcast is still the same. But I want to ask a new question for my friends. Friends listening, I've always asked like a favorite thing in someone's life, but now I want to know what meal you could also eat for the rest of your life every day and never get tired of it. So that was a lot, but like who you are, what you do, and then a favorite meal,
I
almost
love
like
it.
your last meal kind
All
of
we're
vibe.
doing now is thinking about food.
Yeah.
Well, I feel the same way about you, Tara, in terms of being a kindred spirit. I have been married for 27 years to my husband, James. And of course, like most married couples, we are different. You know, he's a risk taker. I am safe. I like the rules and being organized. He is a
Yep.
free spirit. We met in graduate school. We met because we went to Toastmasters together, which is not like a drinking club. It is a public speaking club, like it used to be, right?
That's
That you would have to give a
awesome.
toast at a wedding. So we met at this Toastmasters group, and we also met at a convalescent home that there was a once a month outreach to this nursing home that was really close to graduate school. And we would go in this van with other graduate students. And when he shared about God, like all the residents, they're in their wheelchairs, like some of them are asleep, and he's telling them stories about like how Jesus is the light of the world and talking to them. And I am just like falling in love, right? I'm like, oh my word, I want to marry this man. I honestly thought I want to marry this man. And of course, it takes the men a very long time. So about a
figure that
year,
out.
exactly, year and a half of friendship.
Yeah.
And then we started dating and we were married. We have 3 children now, boy, girl, girl. We have Ethan, who is a college grad and working full time now. We have Noelle, who is in college, and Lucy, who is in high school. And I write about marriage and parenting, and particularly in this day and age since 2010, I've been writing about technology, how we can have tech as part of our life, but that, hey, this is actually designed to take over your life. And if you do not set those guardrails for your kids, so we are delay is the way because it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I write about. And my podcast is called the Happy Home Podcast, which you have been a guest on. And I just loved having you on so much.
So fun.
And the meal thing, it's a little tough because it's like, if I'm going to eat it every day, then I'm going to go with something I had recently at a restaurant that sounds so boring, but it was so delicious.
Okay.
And it was this like pan-seared salmon that was
great.
like perfectly cooked and like kind of crispy on the top a little over this bed of lettuce. And then it had like balsamic sauce and like all sorts of things. So it looked like a lettuce cake. They made it round.
Yeah.
So it looked like a lettuce cake with the salmon on top. And then to my delight, I thought, oh, that's a very small thing. But when you start like undoing it, it's like this huge salad. So anyway, It was so good with the salmon. So if I did every day, I would eat that.
I love it.
If it was like, oh, this is your last meal, then I would do more like some kind of amazing orange chicken and fried rice or something like that.
Oh my goodness. Give me all of the Asian food. So I am Korean and I haven't had as much Korean food as I have had other Asian food, but literally anything with rice or stir fry or honestly Thai food. I think that's what I would say for mine.
Thai food is so good.
I appreciate you indulging me in that question. I know it was kind of a surprise, but I know it's kind of like random and off the cuff, but I also I love food. I love cooking. I love hearing. I think it also just shows a little bit about who someone is and what they love and what's a part of their not only culture, but the culture of their home and where they live. So that is so fun. I appreciate you indulging me again, but I'm so grateful for you. And I loved being on your show. And it just kind of sparked this curiosity because again, like you talked much about in your podcast as much about the home and about marriage and about parenting, but also like you said about technology and what that looks like. And so today I really wanted to talk about one of your books about marriage mainly. And today, by the title and what people are kind of already getting the vibes
Yeah.
for, is we're kind of talking about this roommate phase in marriage. And I think it's a pretty popular one, but I would love for you to unpack what this phrase means. I mean, I've seen it all over social media, I've read it in books, but for someone who may be unfamiliar of like, what is the roommate phase? Can you define it? And also, let's unpack why this seems to happen to most every couple. I'm going to say that. Can I say that?
Yeah, I
I'm going to
think you
say it.
I'm sure that that face I think you could say that.
I'm gonna say it,
I
maybe
think
not everyone, but I think there's a big majority. So let's talk about it.
99% of people, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so when people are talking about, "Oh, I'm in this I feel like we're roommates." What they're not saying, like, you know how if you had a best friend roommate in high school, I'm not in high school, in college, and it was like, "Oh my word, I got into my room and I just talked with them all night and I love them and we always walked to the caf together and went and then we grew up
yeah,
and we vacationed together." That's not the roommate that
yeah,
people are
yeah,
talking about when they say we're in the roommate phase. When married people say it's just like we're roommates, what they are saying is there is nothing here
mm,
beyond, hey, we share the same space.
yeah,
We are in the same location. We've made this decision that has put us here together. We do what's necessary. We
yeah,
eat, we scroll, we do things separately. We go to bed and we do that day after day after day.
mm,
We
yeah,
might have little conversations. We listen to each other. We're warm. We're not mean to each other,
yeah,
but it's just it doesn't have this feeling of, oh, there's a lot of warmth and growth,
sure,
right? And love and romance. And we do have to say, when I've met James, right? So I'm coming off of this, you had me at Jello, from the
yep.
convalescent home. And the first
I
year
love
of
it.
marriage is like, I don't want to see anybody else because when I get home from work, I just want to spend time with you. I mean, that is
Right,
year one of marriage.
yeah,
And I love what Dr. Gary Chapman says. He's like, if you stayed in that state for the rest of your lives, just imagine you would get nothing done. Like you would
mm,
meet no other
true,
people. You would
true,
just, that's all you would do. So this is an okay thing that things cool
and
and that you're not,
change.
and that your
Yeah,
butterflies aren't going crazy every time your hunk of a man walks in and you're like, oh, it's date. If that is
right,
okay that these things change.
yeah,
And what we are looking for is, okay, the easiest way to snap out of that roommate phase, I think, is to do things that roommates don't do.
yeah,
So roommates don't kiss.
yes,
Roommates don't hold hands,
mhm,
when they're walking from place to place.
yep,
Roommates don't say like, "Wait a minute, you look concerned. Tell me more about
yeah,
what's on your mind."
yeah,
Roommates, you know what I'm saying? So start just doing things. And
together,
really
yeah,
the act of kissing, even if you don't feel like kissing, right? You don't feel
mm,
like it, but there's no one else in the world that can smooch, you can smooch with except
yeah,
your spouse.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and the same is true of them. A lot of times as women, we are less touchy because we're like,
mm.
oh, don't want to touch our spouse because then the spouse, as I heard one mom say, will turn into an octopus. And I'll be like, that is not what I meant by that little physical affection.
Right,
You know,
or like your, okay, I'm gonna interject with
yeah,
sometimes what I think, and I'm gonna be super honest here, is that I think as women, we acutely know this where it's like, okay, if I give physical touch in this moment, like, I have too many things to do, like, I can't right now, like, it's opening that
right.
can of worms, right? Like we have so many quote unquote "burdens" and things on our list, and I love that you mentioned that. I think that's really important,
Yes.
so continue, but
Something that really helped me was interviewing Dr. Joyce and Cliff Penner. They're, psychologists. They wrote The Gift of Sex. And basically they say you can have this conversation like, honey, I want to show more affection to you. I don't want us to become like these roommates that just
mm,
coexist next
yeah,
to each other. So I want to I'm going to kiss you, but hey, every time I kiss you, that is not the go signal.
it's
I
not
just
an
want to show
initiation.
affection. I just want to show
Yeah,
affection. And most husbands will be like, okay, right? They're going to like that. And
yes,
that closeness, the Penners talked about that as the pilot light lit between you. So you're just trying
yeah,
to keep that light that's there with
yeah,
your spouse. And so Dr. Arthur Brooks, the psychologist, he talks the express train to oxytocin. So that's that
mm,
good feel good
yeah.
hormone between you is eye contact and physical touch.
Yeah.
So very easily how to not become roommates is like, wait, spend that extra moment not to look at your phone while you're talking. Hey babe, how
Yeah.
was your day?
Yeah.
But look at them in the face with your eyes. And then what if you went over and actually like touch their shoulder or
Yeah.
touch their hand? Then all of a sudden it's like, wow, you really care about me. And that was 30 seconds.
Right.
So I think just
Right.
those really small changes, eye contact, physical touch, kiss, because you're the only one who can. And
Yeah.
even when you don't feel like it. So I get it. We have 3 kids. We get
Yeah.
out of this rhythm. So
Yeah.
we would literally make a kissing chart. We'd make just like a
Wow.
little piece of paper when our kids, they're like in
Yeah.
elementary school or whatever, and you
Yeah.
realize like we don't kiss anymore. We don't do anything romantic anymore. So we literally had this chart with these squares. And when we kissed each other, we had like every other day, like you're
Yeah.
supposed to be the initiator every other day. And then you like put a check mark, right? So we put that on the refrigerator. And one day, like Lucy, our youngest, she's probably like whatever, 9 or something. She's like, "What's this?
Oh.
What are these boxes for?" And I didn't even have a good answer.
You're like,
I hadn't thought about it. And I was like, "Oh, that's a kissing chart for Daddy and me. We're going to try to kiss each other every day."
What did she say?
But she was like, "Okay." Like she was like,
Oh.
"Okay." And you know what? That is so cute because one, we all forget to do it. So when you
Right.
get out of it, like someone
Yeah.
gets sick or you just get out of the rhythm and you don't show physical affection, you just then, okay, next day, get back into it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
guess what? This is something really beautiful for kids to see.
Right.
Like, oh,
Right.
mom and dad, they like act loving towards each other. So this
Yeah.
is good all around.
It's so good. And there will be people that will say, "Oh, well, we don't need a chart. We don't need all these rules." And
Sure.
it's like,
Right. That's
honestly,
right.
though, like
Yeah.
maybe that's not the case for everyone, but I think there's wisdom in having these physical reminders in front of us, or
Yes.
something like a sticky note, or something like a paper, or something like a note in your phone, or something like very practical, because we can say all these things, but life
Yes.
gets the best of us. We get
Yep.
busy. Our phones, like you said, are our major distractions. Someone gets sick or there's stress at
Yeah.
work. And it's just, we're very forgetful people, right? I mean, I
Yes.
love the hymn, Prone
Yes,
to
so take
Wander.
it. Yeah, exactly. So take
Yeah.
this however you want, keep track of it, or
Yeah.
don't keep track of it however you want, but just do it.
Right. Okay, let's rewind a little bit, because there might be some people listening. And I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand and say that my husband and I have been in those seasons. I would actually even argue that I mean, after every kid we've had, and granted, we only have
Totally.
2, but I think after every
Yes.
child, that's where we've kind of slipped into for a couple months. So I am not saying this, and I know you aren't either, Arlene, from
Yeah.
a place of perfection.
Totally.
And honestly, but like, let's also just call it out, like you said earlier, again, that this is not like a sinful thing. It happens because of life. So if you feel like
Yeah.
you're in this phase and you're already relating to what we've said, like there's nothing wrong with your marriage. Like it just needs some TLC. But I want to
Yeah.
back up a little bit. And for someone who may be listening and think like, okay, I'm not like 100% sure if this is me right now, or maybe they're on the other side where it's like, I want to watch out for this, right? Like, I want to be more aware. And I think awareness is a huge thing in marriage that God has given us, to be like, I'm just going to be noticers of what's going on in our lives and what may
Yeah.
be affecting our marriage, with the end goal of strengthening it, right?
Mm.
So, my question is, why do you feel like this seems to happen to so many couples? What are some factors? What are some things? And again, these aren't bad things, but what have
Yeah.
you noticed in your life and maybe in people that you've talked to?
It's easier to just let things slide, right? So if you leave a banana outside, it's not gonna just get better and better and better. It's obviously
Yeah.
gonna get mushy and worse, and we think like, "Oh, our marriage will take care of itself." So let me concentrate on my career, on my grad school, on my
Kids.
personal wellness, on my children,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like those things need attention. Like, especially if you have kids, obviously it's like, oh, you need me to feed you. Oh,
Right.
you need me to drive you to school. Like, legitimately, you really need things for me. So then we'll tend to say, well, let's just let our marriage kind of sit there and surely it will be just fine. But just think of that poor banana out in the wind and the rain and all those times. Anyways, I'm just being silly about that.
That's a great
But
analogy.
you
I'm
just,
picturing a banana outside in the
yeah,
rain, because it's raining
like
outside right now.
it's like things deteriorate.
Yeah.
That's how things are, and you have to take care of them. And that's why making marriage easier, the tagline is how to love and like your spouse for
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And if you're not taking time to consider your spouse, if you're not acting in that way, it becomes and then they're not acting that way towards you, then it
Mm.
becomes very easy to be like, well, you do not help me in my life very much.
Mm.
I do not like you very much.
Mm.
So I think there needs to be a priority of, hey, this is okay. We talk about self-care. We talk about all
Yeah.
these things. We need marriage care. We
Right.
need
Right.
not just when it's crisis, not when we're on the brink of divorce, but marriage care on a constant basis. This looks like maybe a monthly date night.
Yeah.
This looks like 5 minutes when a spouse comes home and you're sitting on the couch like, hey, kids, just give us our 5 minutes. We have to talk and catch up about the day. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I've heard psychologists say 90 minutes a week
Yeah.
that you are
Wow.
spending with each other. So
Yeah.
just think, obviously we spend that in a day with our phone. So my
Mm,
goodness, we can spend 90 minutes with our spouse in a big chunk of time or little chunks of time. But it's
right.
basically, we need to recognize this is worth my attention. I'm not going to wait for a problem to occur to like tend to
Yeah.
this. And then obviously it takes effort. If you're
Mhm.
on your social media and then soon when you're talking to your AI companion, please do not get an AI companion. Please do
Yeah,
not talk
gosh.
to your AI companion. But if you do,
Yeah.
they're going to love you. They're going to say you're so great. They're not going to expect a thing from you. They're just only going to compliment you. Where if you talk to your spouse, he's going to be like, we really need to make love more. You spent
Mm,
a lot this month. I felt very unrespected in this, right? And you're like, I don't want to deal with that.
mm,
But the truth is, we need these times of repair and love and building to keep that marriage strong through the
yeah.
years.
Yeah, that's really good. I like the repair because I think
Yeah,
gives me this picture of like it's not broken, like
yes,
past repair. I mean, obviously
totally.
everyone has different marriage circumstances and not to say that someone listening does not feel like their marriage is broken because I know that's a reality for
Yeah,
some, but knowing that the Lord can repair and restore a lot. And sometimes that repair, like you said, does not take this we don't need to go to Hawaii for 10 days, right?
right.
Like
It
we
it it
it would
could
be great.
literally be, yes, it could be 24 hours just like downtown.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's another thing that I would also say, like, there is this temptation, especially from social media, especially from maybe looking at other couples in our real lives, not just online, that we think, well, I need to do what they're doing, right? Like, my husband needs to work from home so I can see him more, or I do need that 10-day vacation to the Bahamas. And like, but there are so many of us that can relate on the levels of like, that's just not my life and that's just not my financial situation or that's just
Yes,
not this or that. But I think there's so much hope in knowing that that repair doesn't have to feel like this overwhelming thing that you need to add on. Like you said, 90 minutes in a week where we have 7 days with 24 hours in each day. That's crazy. And like,
yeah,
what would happen if we did more than that? Like, what would
right,
happen if we did more?
yeah.
So, you talked a lot about the children aspect too. And I want to talk to the moms here in this conversation because there's quite a few young moms that listen to this podcast. And you mentioned how one of those things, again, not bad. Obviously, our children
Totally.
are the
Yes,
greatest little blessings ever,
totally.
but how they can be the ones that, or a season of having little kids, let's say, can be one of the reasons why we slip into the roommate phase. So, from your personal experience with James and your guys' marriage, how have you guys kept your marriage from becoming all about your kids? Because right now, I mean, that's what my husband and I are learning. We have a toddler and then a just over 1 year old, two little boys. So we're very much in like the more demanding season. Not to
Yes,
say that parenthood isn't demanding in all of its seasons,
totally.
but we're currently walking this out. Like, how do we make sure it's not
Yes.
all about the kids and that we still have life in here? Because I think someone needs that today.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is such a huge thing because when the baby comes and when our Ethan came, it was like Simba, like, this is amazing. Your whole world is going to orbit around the baby as it should because this is a baby. But as your baby, is a toddler, now all of a sudden we make that shift. Oh, look, the baby doesn't need us 24 hours a day looking. And a lot of times we don't make that shift. So just look, who is calling the shots in your home? Is everything about like, oh, we have to eat this food because the child eats it? Oh, we have to
Okay. Yeah.
vacation here
Yeah.
because our kids would like it. Oh, we have to watch this TV because our kids like it. So my husband actually is a big part of this because he has these distinct memories of like when I was with my dad in the car, we were listening to what he wanted to listen to. We were listening to talk radio. We were listening to classical music. We were listening to books on tape. Like we were listening to what he wanted. And I entered his adult world as an elementary school kid, as a junior higher, et cetera, when I was with him.
Mhm.
And he really has done that to say, hey, children of mine who I love. I mean, my husband's crazy
Yeah.
about our kids, right? But
Yeah.
that this is my car. And when we are here, we
Mm.
will listen to what I want to listen to.
Yeah.
So that, and when we are home, we will eat the food that I want to eat. And then you kids will learn to like to eat this food. So there was this leadership of, hey, we're going to listen, but we're not going to serve you like pizza and chicken nuggets and eat
Sure.
that for 10 years of our life.
Wouldn't be good for you.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be good for you. So part of it is leadership to
Mm.
show, hey, kids, because guess what? If kids grow up and they are the center of the universe and we do drop everything at their beck and call and we do
Yeah.
change our plans because they were inconvenienced, then they grow up to be very entitled college students, young
Mm.
adults,
Yeah.
adults that it has to be my way. I'm a little bit uncomfortable, so I'm going to tap out. So that is actually really good for your child. So
Mhm.
that demeanor of, we love you, we support you, kids. We're going to find your interests and we're going to try to do those things. We're going to help you find good friends. So we're very
Yeah.
like, we are for you, but we are going to show you, how to do this. So that's one. A second thing, and believe me, I struggle with this all the time because if my kids want something, I will do it. But
Mm.
if my husband's like, hey, could you go to this work thing with me? I'd be like, you don't need me to do that. I
You're like,
don't
"You're
want to do that.
independent. You're
Like
fine."
I don't want to waste my time doing that. So it is like, who do you treat the best in
Mm.
your home? And usually it is our kids. So I like to say, well, at least treat your spouse at least that well, right? Eventually, you want to treat your spouse the best because the
Yeah.
truth is, your kids will grow up, they will leave your house. I am totally in that stage where I'm looking at my adult son now and realizing,
Mm.
oh my word, if you get married, I become woman number two. And if you have children, I become like number six in your life. Like I'm going
Mm.
to move down the ladder in your life. But for my spouse, I'm always going to be the number one. So
Mm.
so that mentality of how do I treat my spouse? Do I give him the same patience, courtesy, time, forgiveness
Yeah.
that I would give to my children? And it's hard because our spouse, think of it, we're kind of static. We're kind of the same, where your kids are always growing. So it's like, oh my
Mm.
word, look at them 2 years ago. They're so cute.
Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
hard to compete with this very cute child that keeps changing.
It's
But
true.
just ask yourself, who do I treat the best, and
Yeah.
work your way towards your spouse feeling like, hey, she treats me the best.
Yeah, that's so good. There's super practical things that we can take away too. And
Yeah.
as you were talking, especially the first point, I was thinking about the passage in scripture where it talks about training the child in the way that
Yes.
they should go because when they're older they
Yeah.
won't depart from it. Right? And I've seen this in the way that my parents have raised my brother and I, and my husband's parents, and
Yeah.
how they raise their boys, and just other people in my life, other very faithful parents who just realize that it like their parenting was not just about what they wanted. It was about creating little tiny disciples that were going
Yeah.
to become bigger and were going to be someone's husband,
Yes.
someone's spouse someday, a leader, an eternal soul. And I think that's just really important to remember too in this, that they get to fold into your life. We have the courtesy for them because they are part of the life, but they also, God has given us this responsibility over them, right? But I think it's also really important to remember that, like, you are first and foremost, whose are you? You're the Lord's, right? And
Yeah.
then God has given you this picture of your relationship with Him through your marriage. And the strongest parents that we can be comes from being really, really, really great spouses to each
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
and prioritizing that time. Like, I can look back and remember moments where I have not prioritized my marriage and I'm, snappy and just really, really irritable. And there's been seasons of resentment, right, at times on both of
Yeah.
our sides. And our children notice that. And if it compounds, that becomes the nature of the home. That becomes
Yes.
the culture
Yeah.
of the home, right?
Yeah.
And so I just think that is so, so important to remember too. And I also was thinking the other day, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this too. That there's so many times that, from a husband's perspective, I'm sure he could agree too. But from me as a wife, sometimes you think like, well, why aren't they doing this, or what is happening here? And I remember my mom gave me some advice a couple years ago and was like, not that you shouldn't feel the freedom to communicate with your husband where
Yeah.
your needs and what's going on in your life. But she said, "Have you thought about just praying about what the Lord might want to do in your heart?"
Mm.
And I'm like, "Ooh." And it
Yeah,
was like it was
right.
really great though, because
Yeah.
I needed to be humbled in that way of like so often when we're in the roommate phase or we want something to change in our marriage, we're so easy to point the first finger, right? In scripture, like we're so
Yes.
easy to be like, there's that giant plank in your eye. But
Yeah.
Jesus literally tells us to examine what's in ours so that we can see clearly and more with more humility. And so I'd love to kind of maybe hear your thoughts on that too. It's like if there is maybe a woman listening to this feeling frustrated, like I'm trying to get out of this roommate phase. I'm putting in all this effort, it seems, and nothing's changing. Maybe
Oh,
maybe that's
yeah.
the question. What do you
It's such a good question.
Yeah, what encouragement would you
Yeah.
give to the woman who feels like there's not a lot of change, but she wants that
Yes.
change?
It is the psalmist, search him, O God, and know his heart. Create in him a
Oh,
clean heart, right?
yeah.
And yes, of course, you do want to pray, Lord, do search him, do create him. Yes. But the prayer is create in me a
Mm,
clean heart, search me and
yeah.
see if there is any wicked way in me. And the fastest way to grow your marriage is by getting down, being humble. A lot of people are afraid, like, if I'm take that posture of humility or I'm a servant, I'm already doing so much. And you mean I have to be a servant
Wow.
too? But
Yeah.
you think of Jesus, right? Jesus, he is a servant. He comes to literally lay down his life. And was he a doormat? Was he weak? Did he lose his
Mm,
identity because he was a servant? No. So we really need to push back on that cultural narrative that says, hey, woman, don't let that man boss you around. Don't come thinking that you're the one that needs to humble yourself. He's the one that's doing everything wrong. That's pumped through, it's a toxic, right? Kind of thing through our thing.
yeah.
Like if he's not doing these nice things for you, if he's not doing good things for you, then this is not a good relationship. And when we look at life through that lens of what have you done for me, or I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I've
Mm,
faithfully done it for a long time and you're not doing anything. When we come out short and we get disappointed and we get bitter.
yeah.
So instead of doing that, I say get sad with the Lord. Lord, lament like the
Mhm.
Psalms.
Yeah.
Lord, bring it to him. Lord, I've done all these things. I'm at the end. I realize I can't change him. I can't change my circumstance. Lord, begin to change me.
Mhm.
Lord, give me eyes to see him the way that you see him. Show me things that I haven't even been noticing. Open my eyes. Throughout the Bible, you see like they couldn't hear and they couldn't see, right? Seeing they couldn't see, with ears they couldn't hear. So pray, Lord, open my eyes, open my ears, help me to
Mm.
see. And I promise you, you will then start to realize, wait a minute, this is not Hitler's cousin. Like you will start
Wow, yeah.
to realize
Yeah.
this is a good person with goodwill towards me, and we are just kind of missing the mark. And
Yeah.
if we bring to our spouse, one of the counselors had said, if you come with your criticisms, you're like, why couldn't you do this? So and so's husband does this. Why can't you do this? Or I just asked you to get this at the store and you got the wrong thing. It was just a
Mm.
list, whatever. They're feeling like, okay, I'm a failure here and I do not want to do this again. And I feel disrespected and they shut down.
Mm.
So my counselor friend was like, you need to praise mediocre girls. You need to say, honey, you went to the store. Thank you. And guess what? He will want to go to the store again
Yeah.
and he's going to get the right item probably the third time. So for us to realize, wait a minute, am I being really critical when I need to be supportive?
Yeah.
And then the thing I really like is when you're thinking, well, why don't you do this stuff for me? I don't like you very much. Well, there's probably 10 things he'd really like us to do for him that we are totally not doing. And he probably doesn't like me very much. So that really helps me to realize, oh yeah, I'm no saint either. So put the shoe on the other foot, and I think it'll make you a lot more gracious. We judge him on his actions and we judge us on our intentions. We think
Mm.
like, oh, we're such a good person. We're so good, but we have no actions, but we judge him on all his actions. So we need to really kind of judge ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, humility, right?
Yeah.
And A big thing I've been learning lately is if you don't, I mean, clarity is kindness, right? That's what they talk about.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
huge quote. And I think that's so true. If you don't voice expectations, if you don't voice concerns,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be, obviously, it's not gonna be known, and it's not
Yes.
going to maybe even reach a resolution because you're just kind of, like, rolling around things in your head,
Yeah.
resentment brews, and then there's no growth from it, right? When I can't tell you how many conversations we've had where I've said this to my husband or he said it to me where it's like, "I wish you would have just told me."
Yes.
Or I wish you
Right.
would have just told me that's what you thought that was, or, and we're
Yes.
like, "Oh," like we could have saved
Yes.
ourselves, some bitterness. We could have saved
Yeah.
ourselves some of this time stewing, you know,
I love
and
that.
the Lord just has been so gracious to reveal, like, just be kind with your
Yes.
words and how
Yeah.
you communicate. And that's why I think scripture talks so much about how powerful our words are.
Yeah.
Not only how powerful they are to destroy, but how powerful they are when they build up, right? And
Yes.
that can just be
Yeah.
like the littlest things, like you said. Like, I mean, I asked my husband the other day, like, what do you need from me today? What are two things that I can
Mm-hmm.
help you with? Or how can I
Yeah.
encourage you today?
Yeah.
I had honestly been a really lousy wife the whole weekend, so I felt convicted to be like,
Yes.
actually, Lord, like I should probably ask him how he needs me and
Yes.
how I can help him. So I asked him and he said, you know what? Like more physical affection. And he
Yeah.
said, and more, what did he say? What was it? Like oh, how did he word it? Basically, like gratitude or words of
Yeah.
affirmation or something like that, you
Yes.
know? And it's
Yeah.
so simple. It's so simple.
Right? Isn't that interesting? Because when you ask that question, your spouse is probably not gonna say, "I need 3 hours of this, and I need you to spend the" right? It's like, it's gonna be something you're like, "Oh, I can actually do that." So,
Yeah.
bravo
Yeah.
to you for doing that.
Well, and all of it adds up, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
what matters. So, for someone listening thinking like this feels like a lot, like that's not the message. It's little
Yes.
daily steps of obedience to the Lord and also just affection in simple ways that really compound, right? It
Yeah.
really makes a difference. And
And
Arlene's a
a
testimony of that. She's almost been married 30 years, you guys.
yeah.
So, this is
Can you imagine?
amazing. This is
A lot of
amazing.
it is remembering,
Yeah.
right? So let's say you were married 2 years ago or 5 years, 10 years, whatever. It's like when you get in that weird state, just remember whether it's you look at an old photo or you read an old love letter, remember, and it's the same throughout scripture. The Israelites, they're going to drift because to idolatry because they're not going to remember
Yeah.
what God has done. They're not going to remember to be grateful. So that's something
Yeah.
that I talk about in Making Marriage Easier, that was one of those decisions
That's
to
good.
remember and to be grateful that really helps marriage, frames it up so much better.
That's so good. Arlene, I could talk to you for hours, and it's been such a blessing to be able to know you and to learn from you. And I love your book. I love your podcast. I'm so grateful you came on and gave us so much encouragement. Like, I need to re listen and take some notes. And I hope that that is what our friends are doing right now. And just to feel that freedom and that encouragement to make your marriage easier, to glorify the Lord. You can do this today, right? Start complimenting,
Totally.
do all
Yes.
the things. It's really worth it. So, Arlene, as we finish up today's conversation, do you mind sharing a little bit about where people can find you? Remind them about your podcast and about your resources. They're also
Yes.
worthy to be read and to listen to. So, let them know right now.
I'm so happy to meet you, new friends. So the book is called Making Marriage Easier: How to Love and Like Your Spouse for Life. You can get that anywhere you get books. My website is simply my name, which is very hard to spell, but it's arlenepellicane.com. And the podcast is called The Happy Home. So we want to create homes. I always say you don't have to come from a happy home to create one,
Hmm,
is that God
I
gives us
love
the
that.
ability to create happy homes for us and for our children and our spouse.
That is so beautiful. Well, I love that. I love that so much. Friends, I'll have everything linked in the description, especially the website too, because sometimes I do the same thing. I'm like, I don't know if people are going to catch the spelling. So I got you. It'll be linked in the episode description. And again, Arlene, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. This encouraged my heart and my marriage. And we just appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tara.